Disconnect. Usually takes about 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're connected. Hello, hello, hello. Matthew Emery McLean here, Shamanic Happiness Coach for day number 83 of the 90-Day Happiness Challenge. Holy moly, big work. Oh, wow, I am all stained up. My goodness. We're doing, we've been making huckleberry wine, so we just started filtering it and doing our last little bottling. Lots of love, lots of Reiki, super fun. Very interesting, too. Makes a really good port. So, anyway. So, welcome to today. Yesterday, big assignment, day number 2. That one, super big and awesome to be able to get started on that 10-day manifestation challenge. So, today's note is the next day you will be marking another box. Also, in your share, you can include what you've done for your next check mark on your box. Make sure you do your manifestation meditation. Okay, those visualizations are extremely important. And then how I asked everybody to integrate the elevated song with that too. So, just listening to a song, doing a nice breathing exercise, and sending the awareness to our body. Where our awareness goes, energy flows. So that's huge. Just like what we think about, we bring about. So it's kind of the same thing. So make sure you do that. Also, I'm checking in. How's your workouts? How's your exercise? Remember, we want to be always doing the 20 to 30 minutes or so of exercise a day, something that gets your heart pumping and your blood flowing. How are your cold showers coming? Yesterday, I was able to do a bit colder. I wasn't able to stay in as long. It was at least 30 seconds. I think the first time I was able to do almost a minute, and it wasn't a big deal. So pretty powerful. What else? How's your eating going? How are the rest of your awarenesses going with how you're acting and showing up with your projections and etc.? So many things now, right? And you shifted enough to where you can just do these things on the fly. And the more that you just continue to do them, they become part of your routine, part of who you are, and it just becomes easy. Yeah, super, not very difficult, especially once we get those, the neural connections and also nerve connections throughout the body to make that happen quicker. It's without effort, right? Or with less effort. So good job. So for number 83 today, we are going to refocus again on some forgiveness. We did another day with forgiveness. And today we're being asked to go even further with it. So one of the things that we know is when we hold resentments or things like that, judgments, we kind of will suffer. Generally, a judgment comes because we have an expectation of reality that's not being met. And so when we look into that, we might go, wow, I'm having a judgment right now. And this is probably, I'm shoulding on the world as if it should be doing something else. And then we realize that we're being met with reality. So the projection of reality that we think we're supposed to experience is why we should on stuff. So understanding that when we feel those judgments, resentments come up, anything like that, then what we're doing is existing outside of reality. So super powerful that we were able to do, the core exercise the other day and understand our values, because that really helps us understand what type of reality we are in and what we're operating with. So when something goes against one of those core values, we will understand that the values that we inhabit don't necessarily fully or are not fully expressed within every moment of all life. Okay, there's just something a vibration that we're reaching toward and certain ways of acting that we want to be in. And so when we feel a core value being violated, that is something that's going to rock us more to our core and ask us to practice forgiveness on a much grander level. So it's very important to understand that the need for practicing this forgiveness kind of work, because as we inhabit or embody resentments, we become those resentments. And so we constantly will live with that cortisol or those elevated or those depressive emotional states. And it will cause us to act different ways. It'll cause us to act from the shadow rather than from authenticity. And so we might start hurting the outside world. We might be contributing to the hurt in the outside world, or a lack of production or productivity, whatever it would be. So in this space, doing forgiveness work is extremely valuable. So today you are charged with finding something that you have resentment for, whatever it is, and today you forgive it. Completely forgiven. Doesn't mean you've forgotten what's going on, because when we learn the wisdom of something and we're able to embody that wisdom, then we act differently, right? Because we know that reality is happening and there might be a situation that I would have to forgive again because it violates my core values in some way. And so just understanding that this forgiveness exercise is showing me how to grow beyond my limitations of resentment or judgment, right? So that I can continuously stay in a higher elevated state. So that is enlightenment, being free from suffering and the causes of suffering, being free from what holds us back and causes us to react out of the shadow nature that we all have, right? Out of whatever's created our shadow. So I've encouraged you to practice Honoponopono with this, and those were the please forgive me, I am sorry, I love you, thank you. Okay, those are those 4. You can also look this up and find a Honoponopono meditation on YouTube. Soon all of these meditations will be on my website and I'll be recording them and stuff. But for now, I'm just directing you to YouTube because it's super easy and you get to make the choice of which one you like. Because you may not like the sound of my voice. Who knows? I've been told it's a good meditative voice, but maybe not for you. The other thing that I asked you to do or encouraged you to do is The Work by Byron Katie. I love The Work, and it's actually based in reality. The 4 questions and the turnarounds allow you to escape any projections over reality that you are currently doing that's causing judgments and things like that. Because when we're outside of reality, we suffer. And when we're in reality, that's the most freedom that we can actually operate in, is to be like, oh wow, I don't need to suffer because of my judgments. I don't need to suffer because of my projections of the world. Instead, I can turn that around and take responsibility for it, learn from those mistakes in the past, and then apply that knowledge to the future so that I have a little bit more smooth sailing. And so also from moment to moment, I'm not as dysregulated when reality doesn't meet my expectation, right? And when it doesn't, the more that we practice the work and Honoponopono, the more that we just instantaneously shift those energies or those circumstances around. And instead of having the negative side effects, we actually will still have the positive side effects and still have progression. So the work, it's 4 questions and turnarounds. The 4 questions are, is it true? Whatever your judgment is it true? Number 2, can you absolutely know that it's true? And then number 3 is, how do you react? What happens when you believe that thought? And number 4 is, who would you be without that thought? And then there's the turnarounds to them, which we switch it around to where it's they should do it, I should do it, and then nobody should, or kind of a thing. And going and looking up the work, the 4 questions and the turnaround, so that you understand them from Byron Katie's point of view, is very powerful. Or any other the work facilitator. I just introduce it here because it is a very, very powerful tool. So the number one thing, I'll just give an example of utilizing Honoponopono and then the work. So let's say I've acted outside of my value system, or perhaps my actions have caused ripples in the world, some type of suffering. And so then I could go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the little Honoponopono prayer. I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And I'm just going to concentrate on that with the individual happening and just allow that to happen. I'm going to say it a few times and just let it go. I'm going to let it kind of like upload into the universe so that it can take effect. And then just trust, falling into trust with that, right? So it's a way of just letting it go. And when I'm saying these things, I'm being extremely authentic. So this may even be a judgment that I have of myself, right? Now I'm going to go do the work. So first thing is, let's just say we're talking about we can use an example of the roommate not doing dishes, or one of our roommates not doing dishes, whoever that would be, even if it's us, right? And maybe we have an expectation that those things should be done. And so when we have that expectation and it is not met, then we suffer. So we see a pile of dishes or something of that nature and we blame it. And we say, these should not be here. And directly we're shooting on reality, and reality is that they're in the sink. So I can either choose to be dysregulated and mad and act from that space, or I can choose to be proactive and then shift that understanding and take charge of the situation. So this doesn't mean that I have any responsibility to go and change the behavior of anybody else. What it could mean is that it gives me the ability to come out of my dysregulation to have a conversation so that I don't have to spend as much time on the dishes, because I don't want to suffer, and kind of come to a mutual understanding of arrangements, of responsibilities, of value systems. Or this simply means I heal within me what is causing me to be dysregulated about this situation, and also have that conversation. So first question is it true? Is it true, the statement that these dishes should be done? And this is a yes or no statement. There is no if, ands, or buts. There is no addition to it. And in the moment of suffering, I might say, yes, it is true, these dishes should be done. And then the second question comes in. How do you absolutely know that it should be, or that it is correct? And I go, well, I mean, there's probably a circumstance in which they shouldn't be done, right? Okay, so no, I don't actually know that they should be done. Okay, we don't need to relieve ourselves of our judgment, but at least we're kind of making it more malleable. And the third question is, how do I react? What happens? What happens when I believe that thought? When I believe that thought, I get frustrated, I get judgmental, I get resentful, I get worried, I fall into lack. Maybe I automatically think I don't have enough time. All of those things kind of happen. That's how I react. Huh, interesting. Okay, good to know. And then who would I be without the thought that these dishes should be done? They're clearly done in front of me. So if I didn't have the thoughts that said it should be done, and I could just walk by it and just be like, dishes, and then move on, I wouldn't be in resentment, I wouldn't be in judgment, I wouldn't be in lack for my schedule, etc., etc. I would probably be doing something else, like getting ready for work or whatever. Now, this is not saying about like the outcomes of things, because that's caveats, right? If we were to explore it and say this should be done because it creates a dirty environment, yes, that probably is true. Okay, so how do I absolutely know that it's true? Yes, if dishes are contaminated and they're icky and stuff like that, then it's going to create a dirty environment, and it's going to muddy up whatever other situations are going on at the household. Okay, what do I believe, or what do I think, and how do I feel? How do I react when I believe that thought? I get worried, and et cetera, and I go, wow, that really sucks. Okay, then if I didn't have that thought, I would just go about my day and just be like, okay, there's dishes, great. Then I might also start later on worrying about the rest of the cleanliness of the house. So the only thing I'm really doing is letting go of my trigger reactions and coming back more to reality. And if I want those dishes to change or not be there, I probably should take care of it, regardless of who it was. I know that sounds frustrating for a lot. That's why we're working with forgiveness and resentment. Because if I constantly believe that somebody else should be doing these dishes, even if they have created them, and they don't, I will constantly suffer. So I'm just going to do it, right? I'm just going to solve my own suffering for me, and then maybe have that conversation as well. But I'm not going to be in a dysregulated state. I'm going to take ownership, right? If I want me to be happy, then the greatest thing I could do would be to clean up those dishes and stop bitching about it, right? Regardless of who they come from. Different way to look at stuff. So go ahead and reach out to me if you have any questions, need help finding videos or anything of that nature. Go ahead and share using the Day-83, using the hashtag of 90-Day Happiness Challenge. Talk about your experience. I'm not asking you to divulge who you need to forgive or what it is, but what is the experience of you building up the courage to do this type of work on somebody that you have resentment for or have not forgiven, okay? If you want to play big, you could actually do an entire group of people. So if it's not one person or one situation, then you could do an entire group of people if you need to. And yes, make sure you share, hashtag 90-Day Happiness Challenge, tag me, Matthew Edward McLean, Shamanic Happiness Coach. And if you need to contact me, of course, once again, you can find me on social media. You can send me a call or a text at 775-800-4271. Or send an email to Matthew@shamanichappinesscoach.com. There we go, I did it. So, Congratulations for today. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow for day number 84. Oh my goodness, we're almost done. Yay, yay, yay. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Namaste. Bye-bye.